Thulamahashe in Bushbuckridge, and at the age of 4, her music talent was noticed. Her move to the Gauteng province took place when she completed her high school and furthering her studies in music. Now, being part of a gospel band gave her the opportunity to collaborate with artists such as Benjamin, Dube, Ntokozo, Mbambo, and the list is endless. Well, this morning she joins us now via Skype to tell us more about it. Very good morning to you, Mabongi. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
It's so good to have you on this morning. Now, COVID-19, Mabongi, as we've seen, has turned our lives upside down, and currently the country is under lockdown. So how have you been keeping busy as an artist?
So around January, February this year, I started online classes where I was teaching students singing online via Skype or Zoom. So funny enough, when the lockdown happened, everything kind of slowed down. But then it's like people are kind of getting used to the fact that we're not really going anywhere, and things started picking up again. So that's what has been keeping me sane as a musician. I have been teaching. I do lessons almost every day with students from literally everywhere. I've just signed up to one from the UK, another one from Congo. So that's what has been keeping me busy, and I've been trying to keep my craft going. I practice, I create more material for my students to practice with. So it makes my life very, very, that's what I've been up to.
I see you've been keeping busy helping your students to cope under this lockdown, but how have you been able to cope yourself? Have you resorted to, some other new and novel ways of performing, such as performing online?
Not really. What I've been doing a lot is this Zoom lessons. I started doing it myself. Then I started getting invitations as well. I've been teaching as well, talking about music. Even this coming Wednesday, I am doing that. I'm teaching to a group of Ghanaian singers, about 400 plus singers that I'm going to be with via Zoom. So we speak for about 2 to 3 hours. I've been doing a whole lot of that. And funny enough, I released a single even in this lockdown, so that has been some exciting times for me.
Mabongi, having studied music, how has this added to being the artist that you are?
Oh my word. I think my ear as well. My ear started hearing a bit differently from just, the talented Mabongi into the Mabongi that has studied music. My singing improved dramatically. I think I even have the confidence to teach, to stand and tell people, hey, come, I'll teach you a few things. I think this music degree is the one thing that really gives me that confidence, because I know it took a whole lot of time for me to just sit behind the desk and go to school each and every single day to be able to obtain this. So studying music has really done a lot for me, especially as a singer, because most of the time as singers, we've just got that gift naturally and we just run with it. Not many of us decide I'm going to go to school and study and stuff like that. So it has really, really worked wonders for me, and I'm grateful I did.
I'm quite curious to know, Mabongi, how much of an impact a music degree helps or to hone your own talent? Because I would imagine during classes, it's more about theory, isn't it?
Yeah. I think for me, having a degree is so helpful in that even if I decide not to be a stage performer anymore, the fact that I've got, paper is something that shows that, hey, I went to school. It helps me to be able to do other things and branch out into other things as well. I can be like an arranger. I can literally do anything. The fact that I can read and write music, even on paper, that makes life a whole lot easier. Because I remember this other time I had to do some music for some people, and what they did was just send me some sheet music first, and when we got to studio, it literally was so quick. I got there and already the songs were there, and the work was done as quick as that. So I'm really enjoying the fact that I studied music. I love that.
Sure. And if you were to describe your journey as an artist in the music industry, what kind of picture would you paint for us and for our viewers?
It's been an interesting journey for me. I think, first of all, being because I do some of my music in Tsonga. I think that on its own is like okay. And then there's this jazzy flavor because I studied jazz at school. And it's gospel music, So these three for me, it's like a crazy combination, but it really works. So it has really just been an interesting journey. That's the word that I would use. It had a whole lot of ups and downs, some great moments that I've had, and some not so great moments. But everything has just been so interesting for me.
You have 3 albums under your belt already and have come up with a single after a 2-year break. Tell me, why did you take this break, and talk to us about why produce a single and not a full album?
I think having to change my sound, I feel like I'm at a different place now. So my sound is a bit different from what people are used to me doing. Before, as I started, my first album was a little more jazzy. I recorded it when I was still full-time in school. So my head was still full of jazz. And after I graduated, I released another album that was a little less jazzier than the first one. For me, this break as well was to try and find, where do I want to go next? What do I want to do next? Do I still want to do, as much as I was still I'd still sing a hymn and arranged it in a way that everybody was like, okay, is that the hymn that we all know? So it was just that whole change and doing new songs and the new sound altogether. That's why I took this time and decided to just throw out a single out there, and more like an introduction to my next level, or to the next things that I'm getting up to doing.
You describe your music as being less jazzy than than the previous album. Do you want to describe that in detail for us, what it entails? I mean, what kind of genre that is?
It's still gospel music. It's still it's just that immediately after school, I think maybe it could be easier to the ear for anybody. I think that's the easiest way to put it. Okay. It probably would be easier on the ear for literally anyone. Whilst my first album was more for the musician, I think, as much as I still had like a hymn that I grew up singing, something that my grandmother loves, that was like, that is like, her favorite song in the album Mukutsuri. So just that transition for me, and I don't know if I can say I'm kind of losing my jazz vocabulary. I really hope not, because I really, really love jazz. I love jazz so much. Sometimes I feel like I kind of miss performing jazz, because immediately after school, we used to perform like at a whole lot of jazz spots with a bunch of my friends. But the moment I released my album and I branched into gospel music, that kind of took over. So that means maybe
that means you are now turning your back on jazz music, and you would turn down any offer of a collaboration with a jazz artist?
Not yet. But if it came, I'd definitely grab it with both hands.
Okay.
I've not turned it down, and that's what I'm saying. I really don't know why, but the moment I released an album, I don't know, more and more gospel gigs and gospel things just started coming my way, and the jazz started to kind of take a back seat a bit, and I just ran with it. Okay. I just ran with it.
So are you also looking to embrace more genres in future, or are you going to stick to the current one that you have?
If it's more genres, it's going to be gospel music. Okay. Definitely, but I still want to do a proper jazz album, with strings, with orchestras, with everything. Like literally, I want to go big, but it's still going to be gospel music. Gospel music has always been my first love, even before I went to music school and studied jazz. So,
and how do we connect with you, Mabongi?
Gospel music, just with a whole lot of flavor.
How do we connect with you?
It's at I am Mabongi on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. That's how you can connect with me. At mabongi.com, that's my website.
Okay, perfect. Mabongi, thank you so much, man. And it's been great chatting to you. All the best in your music.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Have a good one. That was Mabongi, as she's known in the music scene and by her fans, talking to us about her music career and the single she has dropped titled Only You. Well, she started singing at the age of 4 after her matric. She moved to Gauteng to further her studies at the Tshwane University of Technology, where she enrolled in music and majored in jazz. In 2011, she completed her national diploma, and in 2012, she took on a BTech degree in music. And after an amazing and interesting journey, she then recorded her debut gospel album titled Tama, which has a touch of a little bit of jazz and R&B. Now, this well-prepared and arranged album will inspire and provide listening pleasure across all age groups. And I mean, there's something for everyone. All right, this is the Morning Live. We'll take a quick break. We'll have more in a moment.